The shudder in the sky. It began like a whisper, a ripple in the cosmos that no one could quite explain. For years, humanity had looked to the stars, searching for something, anything, that would confirm they weren't alone. The search for intelligent life had been ongoing, but no sign of alien presence had ever emerged, until now. Dr. Elena Ramirez stood alone in the observation chamber of the Charybdis space station, the newest outpost humanity had built on the edge of the solar system. Her eyes narrowed as she reviewed the incoming data. On a screen in front of her, an anomaly appeared, a faint but unmistakable distortion in the vast expanse of space. It wasn't just a blip, it was a pattern. Something was there, hiding just beyond the edge of visibility. Elena's fingers hovered over the keyboard, hesitant. Her pulse quickened as she zoomed in on the coordinates. "This can't be right," she muttered to herself, but the data didn't lie. "Computer, enhance," Elena commanded, her voice a mix of awe and confusion. The station's AI, Argus, immediately complied, and the distortion sharpened into view. A fleet. An immense fleet of ships, cloaked in a manner unlike anything humanity had ever seen. The ships were massive, so large that their mere presence in space bent the very fabric of reality around them. Gravitational waves rippled through the station's sensors, confirming the sheer size of the formation. A bead of sweat trickled down Elena's brow as she leaned closer to the screen, trying to make sense of the impossible. "Unknown fleet," Argus responded, its usually calm voice now tinged with uncertainty. "The object is not a natural phenomenon. It is a structure, many structures." Elena's mind raced, thoughts spinning in all directions. This wasn't just a discovery. This was an invasion. The idea seemed far-fetched, but her instincts, honed through years of studying the stars, told her that this was no coincidence. The fleet was headed straight for Earth. She tapped the intercom, her voice barely audible as she spoke. "Alert Commander Cole. Priority Alpha, now." The Earth's last hope. The sudden arrival of the alien fleet was a shock that rippled through every corner of the globe. Dr. Elena Ramirez's urgent message had triggered a planetary-scale alarm, and the leaders of Earth scrambled to respond. What was once considered a distant, unthinkable scenario had now become a terrifying reality. The entire world had been thrust into a race against time. In the heart of the United Earth Defense Command, UEDC, the war room buzzed with activity. Hundreds of screens flickered with real-time data from satellites, observatories, and military stations. Analysts, scientists, and strategists worked at breakneck speed, trying to comprehend the scope of the situation. On one screen, the alien fleet loomed, its size and sophistication dwarfing anything humanity had ever seen. Commander Jordan Cole, a grizzled veteran of Earth's interplanetary defense campaigns, stood at the center of the chaos. His sharp eyes scanned the holographic display, focusing on the approaching alien ships. Every instinct told him this wasn't just an invasion, it was an existential threat. How did they get this close without us noticing? General Sophia Xu asked, her voice laced with disbelief. She was a strategic genius, but even she couldn't fathom how an alien fleet had evaded detection. Elena's face appeared on the holoscreen, her expression tense. "They used a cloaking technology unlike anything we've ever seen," she explained, her fingers trembling as she manipulated the data. "It bends light around their ships, but that's not all. It warps space itself. They've been here for months, possibly even years, hiding in plain sight." The room fell silent as the weight of Elena's words sank in. A fleet of thousands, hiding just beyond Earth's reach, watching, waiting. Commander Cole's voice broke the silence, his tone resolute. "How long until they reach Earth?" "At their current speed, they will be within striking distance in less than 48 hours, Elena answered, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Cole turned to face the gathered leaders. "Prepare for immediate mobilization. We're going to need every ship, every soldier, and every resource Earth can offer." General Xu, get me the status on our defensive capabilities." As the general moved to relay the orders, a sense of urgency filled the room. The planet's fate now rested on a razor's edge. The race for the Aegis system. A new sense of urgency swept over Earth's most brilliant minds as they scrambled to find a solution. Among the greatest hopes for defense was a project that had remained under wraps for years. Project Aegis, a planetary defense system designed to shield Earth from cosmic threats, but never fully tested at the scale required for an extraterrestrial invasion. Dr. Alexander Ivanov, one of the lead scientists on Project Aegis, had always believed that the shield was humanity's last line of defense against an unknown future. But even he had never imagined the shield would be deployed in such a dire circumstance. At a hidden facility in the Rocky Mountains, Ivanov and his team of engineers worked tirelessly, connecting the final pieces of the Aegis system. "Is everything aligned?" Ivanov asked, his voice filled with both hope and doubt. Dr. Layla Patel, his lead engineer, nodded grimly as she checked the final calibration of the satellites. "Yes, the system is ready, but we've never activated the full power before. If we engage it at full capacity, there's a chance it could destabilize Earth's magnetic field. We'd cause a planet-wide catastrophe." Ivanov glanced at the monitor showing the incoming alien fleet, its size and scope overwhelming. "If we don't activate it, Earth is done for. The alternative is extinction." Layla's eyes met his. "Then let's hope we're not too late." The massive satellites orbiting Earth were powered by stellarium, a revolutionary element that had allowed humanity to develop faster-than-light communication and energy shields. But now, the very thing that had made these advances possible was their greatest challenge. It was untested at this scale, and the energy demands were enormous. A glimpse of the enemy. Across the stars, the alien fleet moved as one, a perfect, almost eerie harmony of ship formations. The leader of the fleet, known only as the Overseer, had watched humanity from the shadows for far longer than it would care to admit. Their species, an ancient and bioengineered race, had conquered countless worlds, each one bending to their will. The Overseer had long since decided that Earth would be no different. From within the heart of the Overseer's flagship, a massive organic vessel that hummed with eerie life, the Overseer stood before a massive screen. A network of neural interfaces allowed it to communicate directly with the fleet, each ship in sync with the Overseer's thoughts. Its many eyes blinked as it surveyed the blue planet below. "Report," the Overseer commanded. The Executor, the second in command, bowed low before answering. "The humans are deploying a defensive shield, Overseer. It is unexpected. We are currently analyzing its strength." The Overseer's thoughts pulsed in the dark corridors of its mind. It had seen many worlds fall before it. Earth's primitive defenses would be no match for their fleet. Yet, something about this human response intrigued it. The humans had not yet broken. They still fought, even when the odds were impossible. "There is strength in this species," the Overseer mused. "We will see if it is enough to survive." With that, the Overseer issued the order, "Prepare the first wave of the harvest. Let us see how far these humans will go." The moment of decision. Back on Earth, Commander Cole stood before the gathered UEDC officers, the weight of the moment pressing down on him. "Our best defense is the Aegis system, but we can't afford to wait much longer," he said. "We're going to need more than just a shield. We need to strike back." General Xu spoke up, her voice firm and decisive. "We've made significant strides with our military technology. If we can get our best ships into position, we might stand a chance against their armada. It's time to give them something they didn't expect, humanity's ingenuity." The next few hours would define the fate of Earth. The fleet was being mobilized, weapons were being primed, and the Aegis system was going live. As Elena watched from her command center, her heart pounded with fear and hope. The shield was up, but it was only the beginning. The alien fleet was drawing closer by the minute. She knew that no matter how powerful the Aegis was, it wouldn't be enough on its own. Humanity would have to dig deeper, fight harder, and rely on something that no alien invader could anticipate, that unbreakable will to survive. The siege begins. As the alien fleet drew closer, the air on Earth seemed to crackle with tension. The sky over every major city flickered with the promise of a war unlike anything humanity had ever known. Yet, amidst the overwhelming fear, something extraordinary began to happen. People were uniting, pushing past their differences, and rallying together for the survival of the species. In the face of extinction, humanity's spirit was unbreakable. In the command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Elena Ramirez watched in awe as the Aegis shield shimmered like a new dawn across the Earth's atmosphere. The massive dome of energy enveloping the planet was a testament to human ingenuity, a tangible symbol of hope against the void. Yet, Elena knew that the shield was only the beginning. The real battle was about to unfold. The shield's test. The first wave of alien ships approached the shield with calculated precision. A huge biomechanical flagship led the assault, its massive form glowing with an unnatural, otherworldly light. The Overseer's fleet had come to test Earth's defenses, to see how humanity would respond to the invasion. Admiral Jordan Cole, now overseeing the global defense effort, stood at the helm of Earth's most powerful warship, the U.S. Olympus. His knuckles whitened around the controls as the first of the alien ships loomed large on the holographic screens. "Status report," Cole barked. His voice was calm, but there was an edge of urgency to it. "First wave approaching the Aegis shield, Commander," came the voice of Lieutenant Sophia Ruse, his second-in-command. "Energy readings are stable. The shield's integrity is holding strong." Cole's eyes narrowed as the first of the alien ships slammed into the barrier. A brilliant flash of light erupted as the bioengineered ship collided with the energy field. For a moment, it seemed as though time stood still. Then the ship disintegrated into nothingness, leaving only a brief ripple in the air. "It worked," Ruse muttered, awe and relief filling her voice. But Cole wasn't so quick to celebrate. He knew this was just the beginning. The aliens were relentless. As the second wave of ships arrived, he turned to his crew. "Keep firing. We don't know if this shield will hold against everything they throw at us." The alien response. In the cold darkness of space, the Overseer observed the destruction of its flagship. A strange, unsettling feeling pulsed through its neural network, a trace of doubt. It had assumed that Earth's defenses would crumble, that humanity's spirit would break under the weight of their superior firepower. But this new weapon, the Aegis shield, had withstood the test. The Executor appeared beside the Overseer, its voice a low, unsettling hum. "Their shield is formidable. Our ships are unable to penetrate it with the current strategy. The humans have shown resilience." The Overseer's many eyes blinked, its thoughts whirling. Resilience. Interesting. But no matter. The harvest will not fail. Prepare the Phase 2 assault. The Executor hesitated. "Phase 2. My lord, that is." "Necessary," the Overseer interrupted, its voice cold and unwavering. "We will send in the transmuters. Let us see if their ingenuity can withstand true power." The humans counterattack. Back on Earth, Commander Cole stood in the UEDC war room, his mind racing through tactical strategies. The first phase of the alien assault had been repelled, but he knew the aliens would be far from discouraged. They'd learn from their failures, adapt, and come back stronger. "We need a counterattack," Cole said, his voice calm but full of authority. "We can't just wait for them to come to us." General Sophia Xu, who had been quietly analyzing data, turned to Cole. "We've got a small window of opportunity. If we can send our most advanced ships to their rear flank, we might catch them off guard." "Any chance of getting the stellar gun online?" Cole asked, referring to the powerful weapon designed to pierce through alien shields. It had never been tested in combat, but it was humanity's most powerful weapon. "The stellar gun is ready," Xu confirmed. "But it needs a clear shot, and that means we need to push them back. The aliens won't just let us waltz in." Cole smiled grimly. "No one's asking for a waltz." The infiltrators' strategy. Far from the chaos of Earth, a small, sleek ship moved stealthily through the void. This was not an Earth vessel, nor was it part of the invading alien fleet. Its occupant was neither human nor overseer, but someone in between, an infiltrator. The figure, cloaked in shadow, surveyed the war unfolding below. It wasn't the overseer's fleet they were interested in. It was humanity itself. The infiltrator, whose origins were known only to a select few, had watched from the shadows for centuries, waiting for the right moment to act. Earth's struggle against the alien invaders was merely a test, one that could determine the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. The infiltrator's eyes, glowing faintly beneath the hooded cloak, narrowed. "So this is what they call humanity's resilience," they mused. "Impressive, but it is not enough." They reached out, activating a small console hidden within the ship. A series of cryptic symbols appeared, blinking rapidly. The ship hummed to life, its destination set. "Let's see if Earth can withstand a test from both sides." A chance at victory. Back on Earth, the battle for survival raged on. The aliens were relentless, their advanced technology seeming almost unbeatable. Yet, with every assault, humanity's defenders grew bolder. The stellar gun was now online and ready, but it would take all of their strength, courage, and determination to land a successful strike. In the UEDC war room, Commander Cole watched as his fleet prepared for its final push. "This is it," he said, the gravity of the moment weighing on him. "This is Earth's last chance. If we don't strike now, we may not get another opportunity." As the warships accelerated toward the alien fleet, Cole's mind was focused. He had always believed in humanity's ability to overcome the odds. But now that belief would be tested like never before. Earth's future lay in their hands. In space, the battle raged on. Earth's forces launched wave after wave, while the alien fleet adapted and countered with frightening efficiency. Every new strategy seemed to be met with alien superiority, but Earth's resilience refused to die. The fate of the planet hung in the balance, and there was no turning back. As the final battle approached, both sides prepared for the ultimate clash, the outcome of which would decide not only Earth's fate, but the future of the galaxy itself. The war beyond Earth. As Earth's defenders prepared for their final assault, a quiet yet profound change was happening across the globe. Humanity, usually fractured and divided, was united like never before. The Aegis shield was holding, but the aliens' next move was uncertain. Everyone knew that victory would not come easy. It never did. Commander Jordan Cole stood alone in the command center of the U.S. Olympus, gazing out at the vast emptiness of space. The alien fleet loomed large, a dark, terrifying presence just beyond the reach of the Aegis shield. His crew was ready, but he had the burden of leadership heavy on his shoulders. They were all counting on him, and on the ingenuity of the human spirit. The alien countdown. Meanwhile, far out in the cold reaches of space, the Overseer's fleet was preparing for its next move. The Phase 2 assault was already in motion. The Transmuters, a new breed of weaponized alien ships, were the final phase of their plan. The Overseer, a being of pure thought and intellect, had decided that subtlety was no longer an option. Now it would take force, overwhelming, unrelenting force. The Transmuters, each a massive, organic hull craft, were a new kind of weapon. They didn't rely on traditional shields or weaponry. Instead, they adapted, transformed, and evolved mid-battle, constantly shifting their forms and strategies to counter anything humanity threw at them. The Executor stood before the Overseer. "Phase 2 is ready, my lord," it said in a voice filled with quiet reverence. The Overseer's many eyes blinked once, then twice. "Initiate," it commanded, its voice cold and detached. The fate of Earth had already been decided in their minds. The humans' resilience was commendable, but ultimately futile. A fleeting hope. Back on Earth, Dr. Elena Ramirez stood beside the glowing interface of the Aegis Shield's control center, her mind racing. She had seen the reports from the Mars Defense Fleet. The alien assault was intensifying. Earth's shield was a brilliant achievement, but it was only one part of a much larger equation. "We need to think bigger," Elena said, more to herself than anyone else. The shield was protecting Earth for now, but it wouldn't be long before the transmuters arrived. These new alien ships had the capability to adapt and evolve. Humanity needed a countermeasure, something unpredictable, something they hadn't seen coming. "We need a weapon they can't anticipate," Elena said. Her fingers hovered over the console, and a new idea began to form in her mind. It wasn't about more firepower, it was about the human ability to improvise, to think beyond the box. Her thoughts turned to Project Ember, a secret initiative developed by Earth's brightest minds. It was still in its early stages, but if it could be completed in time, it could provide humanity with the edge it so desperately needed. Project Ember, humanity's last hope. Elena rushed to contact Dr. Alistair Voss, the chief scientist behind Project Ember. Voss had been working in isolation, hidden away from the public eye, but now his work might be humanity's last hope. "Elena, is everything all right?" Alistair's voice crackled through the communicator, filled with the concern of a man who had seen his share of disasters. "It's worse than we thought," Elena replied, her tone urgent. "The aliens are deploying a new wave of ships, and we need something more than the Aegis shield to survive." "Tell me what you need," Voss said without hesitation. "I've got some prototypes ready. Just promise me you'll be careful with them." "I don't care about the risks anymore, Alistair. We need Project Ember operational. It's our only shot," Elena replied, her voice firm, a mix of fear and determination. The emergence of a new weapon. Project Ember wasn't a traditional weapon. Instead of relying on brute force, it was based on manipulating energy fields and gravitational forces. Using advanced stellarium technology, the project aimed to create a device that could disrupt the alien fleet's ability to adapt. In short, to take away their advantage of evolution in real time. The only problem, it was still in the testing phase. The device had never been used in combat, and the potential consequences of using it were unknown. But the situation was desperate, and the fate of the planet rested in the hands of a few desperate scientists. The first strike. The hours dragged on as the alien fleet continued its approach. Admiral Cole, his face grim, stared at the holographic projection of the enemy ships. They had adapted faster than expected. Each wave had come with new strategies, new tactics. Humanity's stubborn resolve had been their strongest weapon so far, but Cole knew the real test was about to begin. "We don't have much time," Cole muttered to his team. "If they get through the shield, we need to hit them with everything we've got. No hesitation." Across Earth, the military and civilian forces were bracing for impact. General Sophia Xu stood on the ground, her expression hard, eyes fixed on the sky. Thousands of troops were ready, preparing for the last stand. There was no retreat. The aliens were coming, and this time, they weren't pulling any punches. "We fight for our homes," General Xu whispered under her breath, clutching a small memento of her family, a token of what she was fighting to protect. Her eyes glinted with a fire that only human resolve could kindle. The battle begins. As the alien ships approached, something unexpected happened. The transmuters didn't charge in as predicted. Instead, they slowed, hovering just beyond the range of the Aegis shield. The humans were baffled. "What are they doing?" Admiral Cole wondered aloud, his mind racing. "This doesn't make sense." On the ground, General Xu received the same puzzling report. The alien fleet was pausing, as though preparing for something larger. Then the sky split open. A massive rift appeared in the atmosphere, distorting the sky with an unnatural energy. Through the rift, hundreds of alien ships began to emerge, each one larger than anything Earth had ever seen. These were not transmuters. These were harbingers of death, colossal warships that could crush entire cities with ease. The Aegis shield began to flicker as the rift's energy pulsed against it. For the first time, Elena felt fear. The alien invasion was no longer a distant threat. It had arrived, and it was unlike anything humanity had faced before. A new era of war. Back in space, the Overseer was pleased. The first phase of their plan had worked. Humanity was not ready for what was about to come. But the Overseer knew that this battle was far from over. What lay beyond Earth's atmosphere was only the beginning. The invasion had begun in earnest. The true test of humanity's willpower, intelligence, and creativity had arrived, and only time would tell if they could survive the destructive tide now bearing down upon them. Humanity's gamble, the shattering of the shield. The countdown begins. The calm before the storm never lasted long. After the sudden emergence of the Harbinger warships, those massive alien vessels that loomed ominously above Earth, everything changed. The Aegis shield, the shining beacon of humanity's last defense, flickered erratically, its glow wavering with each pulse of the strained rift energy that now poured from the enemy's ships. The shield had held strong through countless alien attacks, but even it had its limits. In the heart of Earth's United Earth Defense Council, UEDC, Command Center, Admiral Cole stood frozen, staring at the projections on the large holodisplay. The incoming alien fleet, now fully revealed, was simply staggering. Hundreds of warships, each one larger than Earth's greatest cities, were lined up like an unstoppable wall of death. General Xu, still in her command post, clenched her fists. "We're running out of time," she muttered, glancing up at the sky, where she could just begin to see the shimmering edge of the Aegis shield faltering. The shield had always been their greatest asset. It had bought them time. But time, it seemed, was now running out. "Captain," Admiral Cole's voice broke through the tension. "Are we ready?" On board the U.S. Olympus, Captain Sarah Quinn, a seasoned veteran of Earth's battles, nodded grimly. The command ship was one of the most advanced warships ever built, bristling with energy weapons and the newly developed hyperpulse cannons. The weapons had been designed for just this kind of situation, a fight against overwhelming odds. But even they might not be enough. "Yes, sir," she replied, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "We've got enough firepower to make them feel our resolve, but it's still a gamble." Admiral Cole exhaled slowly. "Then let's make it a gamble they'll never forget." Project Ember, the last hope. On Earth's surface, deep beneath the rocky foothills of the Andes Mountains, Dr. Elena Ramirez and her team worked furiously. Project Ember, the secret weapon they had only recently begun developing, was humanity's last, desperate hope. Elena stared at the holoscreen, her eyes filled with determination, mixed with the undeniable weight of fear. She knew what was at stake. The system was now fully activated, the prototype of what would become humanity's counterattack. Unlike the Aegis shield, which protected Earth from the outside, Project Ember was a weapon designed to attack. It utilized humanity's understanding of stellarium technology in ways that had never been tested in combat before. The device harnessed not only energy, but the power of gravity itself, creating a field that could destabilize the alien ship's forms and render them vulnerable to attack. But it wasn't perfect. The energy needed to power it was astronomical. If they fired it, they risked draining Earth's remaining power reserves, leaving them completely exposed. "Is it ready?" Elena asked Dr. Voss, who had been her partner in the project since its inception. Voss, his face gaunt and tired, nodded, though there was a grim look in his eyes. "We've activated the core. It's unstable, but it will work, if it doesn't overload first." Elena's heart pounded. "Then we fire. Now." Breaking the shield, a new strategy. As the alien ships hovered just outside the edge of the Aegis shield, the Overseer surveyed the progress of the invasion with cold indifference. The first wave had been a test, a mere show of force. But now they would move to the final stage of their plan, the collapse of Earth's defenses. "Initiate the gravitic nullifier," the overseer ordered, its voice echoing through the vast neural link interface of the alien mothership. The nullifier was a weapon of mass destruction, capable of draining the energy from the Aegis shield and destabilizing the gravitational forces around Earth. It would render Earth's defenses useless. As the nullifier powered up, the alien fleet began to move, each ship aligning with a massive mothership at its center. A beam of strange, pulsing energy shot out from the mothership, aimed directly at the heart of the Aegis shield. Back on Earth, the sudden pulse of energy was detected almost immediately. Elena's eyes widened as she saw the shield's energy levels plummet in real time. The alien fleet was charging their weapon, preparing to break through. But what Elena didn't know, what no one knew, was that the alien fleet had underestimated humanity's ingenuity once again. The unexpected twist. Just as the nullifier's beam connected with the Aegis shield, something unexpected happened. The shield, which had seemed so impervious, shuddered and flickered violently, but instead of collapsing, it began to glow with a new intensity. A strange, vibrant pulse of light began to spread across the entire surface of the shield, almost as if it were fighting back. At the UEDC command center, alarms blared. "What the hell is happening?" Admiral Cole shouted, his eyes glued to the screen. "The shield's energy is spiking. Is this part of the plan?" Elena's voice crackled through the communication line, her tone urgent. "It's the Ember Core. We triggered it by mistake. The energy feedback is charging up the shield in a way we didn't anticipate." Admiral Cole blinked in shock as he watched the pulse of energy extend outward from the Aegis shield, clashing with the alien beam. The shield held, but it wasn't just holding anymore. It was actively repelling the alien assault, pushing the incoming energy away in a brilliant display of resistance. In that moment, the unimaginable happened. The energy overload didn't just deflect the alien attack, it reversed the gravitational pull on the alien ships, causing them to tremble in mid-flight. The aliens had never expected Earth to fight back like this. The overseer's many eyes flickered in frustration. "No, this cannot be. Their technology, they've adapted. Again." The battle escalates, the ember flares to life. Humanity had just found its first victory, but it was only a brief respite. The energy feedback from Project Ember had caused a catastrophic gravitational shift around Earth, creating chaos in the alien fleet. The transmuters and harbingers began to spiral out of control as they lost their stability in space. It was chaos, but the overseer would not yield. It turned to its next solution, the destruction protocol. A massive energy bomb, hidden deep within the heart of the mothership, was now primed for release. It would detonate a gravitic pulse powerful enough to collapse the very structure of Earth's tectonic plates, effectively wiping out the planet in one massive explosion. But before the overseer could execute the protocol, another unexpected human strike occurred. Captain Quinn and her team aboard the US Olympus had been watching the battle unfold from orbit. With the Ember Core disrupting the alien fleet's energy grid, Quinn knew it was time to act. "Fire the hyperpulse cannons, now," Captain Quinn shouted, her hands steady on the controls. The mighty hyperpulse cannons fired with a tremendous roar, their energy beams slicing through the dark expanse of space and colliding with the alien mothership. The overseer screamed, its neural link with the mothership disrupted. It was enough. The alien fleet began to falter, caught off guard by this unexpected human retaliation. A glimmer of hope. Earth's defenders had just thrown the alien invasion into disarray, but the war was far from over. The overseer's rage was only beginning to rise. Humanity's struggle had just begun. The last stand, humanity's resolve. A war in the shadows. Earth's defenders stood on the edge of the precipice. The alien mothership, the overseer, hovered ominously above Earth, its dark silhouette blocking out the sun. The alien fleet, once in disarray, had regrouped, and now they were preparing to unleash their full force. A deadly energy pulse was ready to rip through Earth's atmosphere and the Aegis shield, humanity's greatest defense, was buckling under the pressure. Even the hyperpulse cannons from the US Olympus had failed to land a decisive blow against the alien behemoth. The weight of the situation pressed down on Earth like a suffocating force. Humanity's greatest minds and fiercest warriors had given everything they had, but it wasn't enough. The Overseer had its own plans now, plans to wipe out the human race and claim Earth's resources as its own. But in the darkest moments, humanity's strength had always shone brightest. A glimmer of rebellion. At a top-secret underground facility, deep within the bowels of the Himalayas, a team of engineers and military strategists gathered. They were the remnants of Project Ember, the team that had developed the experimental gravity weapon now keeping Earth's defenses alive. In a war where every second counted, this group worked tirelessly to refine their strategy, each one aware of the possibility that this could be humanity's final attempt to turn the tide. Dr. Elena Ramirez, the leader of the team, ran her hands over the holographic display. The system they had developed, a hybrid of stellarium and gravity manipulation technology, was their most powerful tool, but it had one weakness: it needed time to charge. Without the full energy output, it was only a fraction of what was needed to break the alien fleet. "We can't wait much longer," Elena said, her voice strained. "We need to fire the core now, or Earth won't survive the next wave." Beside her, General Xu, a commander of the Earth's final line of defense, looked grimly at the countdown on the wall. "The problem is," she began, "the Overseer's fleet is deploying cloaked strike ships. If we don't act fast, we won't even know where the next strike is coming from." Elena's fingers flew over the control panel. "I've been working on that. We'll sync the core's power with our satellites. We'll use the gravitational anomalies caused by their ships to pinpoint where the strike ships are hiding." It was a dangerous gambit. Too much interference could destabilize the core, but in the absence of better options, it was their only hope. A time to act. The charge. Up above in space, aboard the US Olympus, Captain Sarah Quinn stood at the command deck, watching the final calculations of the shield's energy. The hyperpulse cannons had dealt significant damage, but they were no longer enough. The Aegis shield was weakening, and the Overseer was preparing to fire its gravitic pulse, a weapon that would reduce the planet to rubble. "Captain," Lieutenant Cole said, pointing to the screen, "they're preparing the destruction protocol. This is it. We need to buy the team on Earth more time to activate the Ember core. The hyperpulse cannons are recharged, but we have to make this one shot count." Quinn nodded, her expression steely. "Lock onto the Overseer's central core. On my mark, fire everything we've got. We buy Earth a few more minutes." The air on the bridge was thick with tension as Admiral Cole's voice came over the intercom, giving the signal. Quinn exhaled slowly, staring at the massive fleet closing in on Earth. "For Earth," she whispered. With a sudden roar, the cannons unleashed their energy, lancing through the cold void of space. The blast hit the Overseer square in the center. A ripple of energy spread out from the impact, but it wasn't enough to cripple the vessel. The Overseer's hull held strong, its shields absorbing the brunt of the attack. "We did some damage," Quinn muttered, eyes never leaving the screen. "But we need more." Unexpected allies. Back on Earth, something unexpected was happening. As Elena and her team activated the Ember core, a strange frequency began to pulse through the equipment. It wasn't their signal, but something different, something powerful. Elena's brow furrowed as she looked at the readings. "Wait, what is that?" she said. It's not human." Suddenly, a transmission pinged through the facility's speakers. The voice was clear and authoritative, though distorted by a strange, otherworldly tone. "To the people of Earth we have been watching," the voice said. "You fight with a strength we thought was lost to the cosmos. We offer you assistance." Before Elena could respond, a fleet of small, sleek ships, nothing like the alien warships, emerged from the shadows of space. These ships, far more advanced than Earth's technology, glided smoothly past the Overseer's fleet, and they were firing on the aliens. The voice continued, "We are the Silent Watchers. You have proven your worth. Together, we will stop the Overseer." Elena and General Xu exchanged stunned glances. "The Silent Watchers?" Elena whispered. Could they be the progenitors? The Silent Watchers were an ancient race believed to have been the architects of many of the galaxy's first civilizations. Thought to have long disappeared into the void, they had clearly been observing humanity's rise, and now they had chosen to act. "We must join forces," General Xu said. "There's no time to question. If they can take down the Overseer's shield, we might just have a chance." The final countdown. In the final moments before the Overseer could deploy its gravitic pulse, the weapon that would obliterate Earth, the Silent Watchers intervened. Their ships, using advanced stealth technology, darted in and out of the alien formations, striking hard at their core systems. The Overseer's fleet tried to retaliate, but they were overwhelmed by the unexpected speed and precision of their new allies. Meanwhile, on Earth, the Ember Core reached full power. Elena's heart pounded in her chest as the system hummed to life. Energy levels surged, and the core began to draw on the massive gravitational anomalies the aliens had created in their attempt to breach the shield. "We have one shot," Elena said, her voice tight with anticipation. "If this works, we break the aliens' hold on the Earth." On the Olympus, Quinn watched the readout with bated breath. "Give them everything we've got," she ordered, looking out into the dark void of space. For Earth, the Great Clash. With a final deafening roar, the Ember Core discharged its full power. The gravitational waves collided with the alien fleet's mothership, creating an explosive shockwave that spread outward from the center. Ships were torn apart, their shields shattered by the sheer force of the blast. But the Overseer, the heart of the alien fleet, remained unscathed. Until now. With the Silent Watcher's firepower and humanity's ingenuity, the Overseer's shields flickered, weakening just enough to create a small window. "Now, Captain," Elena shouted across the comms. Quinn fired one final round from the hyperpulse cannons, and this time it hit true. The Overseer's core exploded in a shower of debris, and the alien fleet began to collapse inward, their ships falling like dominoes. A victory, but at what cost? The battle was over, for now. The alien fleet was broken, their invasion thwarted. The Silent Watchers had helped humanity overcome the greatest threat to their existence. Yet, as Earth's defenders watched the debris float in the vast, star-filled void, they knew that this was only the beginning. Humanity had won, but the cost of victory, the cost of surviving this war, was still to be determined.